Hello and welcome to the Boss of Ball Out podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. It's your man, Kurt Steele. Today we recap day 2 of the legal tampering period for the Detroit Lions. Today at 4 p.m., the league year starts, and we'll have some more deals coming out today as well. But please do us a quick favor: like the video, share the video, comment on the video if you enjoy the content and you haven't done so already. Please subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 3,000 subscribers, and we are currently at 2768. We now have some channel memberships. I spoke with my connect over, and we still getting that channel shop. It will be ready here sooner rather than later, hopefully. And doing all those things, having a channel shop, channel memberships, all those things will help us grow this content, man. Now it's time to bring in my co-host for today's show. Now, we was up late last night watching the waiver wire, watching what's going on, looking at X. First up, man, it's the ladies' pet, the men's regret. You ain't seen nothing yet, and we will drop the link for the T-shirt Tupperware exchange. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what that is, man. Woo. Leave a Tupperware, get a T-shirt on the way out the next morning. It's my man, LL Cool Jones. What's going on, my dude?
Happy Wednesday, y'all.
Man, y'all know who it is, man. Y'all know that fella, man. He's got that draft hat on. He got the draft backdrop, man. He's the hardest working man down there in Jackson, Michigan. Former Golden Gloves champion, you know what I'm saying? Doing his thing. Heavyweight, knocking people out. It's the Wolverine who?
Real quick, I just want to say shout out to my man John, man. That's my buddy down at the YMCA, man. We always chatted up about Michigan and the Detroit Lions, and he watches Lion Talk Live. And he said, man, so I was watching Lions Talk Live, and Kurt was on there. And then Kurt shouted out that he'd be on the Boss of Ball Out podcast. He's like, and I turned to it, and it was you. So I always see him at the Y, man. We always chalk it up, man. He didn't know. He couldn't make the connection. Now all of a sudden he's seen you. And he went to our podcast. He's like, man, it was you. And I was like, yeah, man, what's up? You know, so shout out to my man John, man. I always see down at the Y.
Yeah. What up, though, John? What's going on, player, man? Hey, welcome to the Boss Up Ball Out family, man. If you're new to the channel and you don't know how the show works, we look at Detroit Lions news headlines, the takes. If we agree, we say they are bossed up. If we disagree, we say they are balled on, and we give our take on why we agree or disagree. No hot takes here, just natural debate about our favorite team, the Detroit Lions. Y'all know what's going on with that, man. We don't be around here talking just to be talking. We won't be doing the Stephen A. or the Skip Bayless or the what's the Nick Wright. You know what I'm saying? We give our 100% opinion, man. And you know, I always tell you, you can tell it's real by the expression on LL's face.
Yeah, he gonna give you that look.
He gonna give you that look, man.
Look.
Man, for real. Can't play poker for shit. Anyway. Anyway. All right, so y'all know what it is, man. Today we go over day 2 of the legal tampering period, man. And you know, it was quiet for the most part, man. But what they did do is the Lions addressed some defensive line trenches, re-signing defensive tackle Miles Adams and agreeing to terms with defensive tackle Roy Lopez. Right. So, and that Roy Lopez was late because the Lions were quiet for the most part. The second day, people were like, "Man, do something." I even tweeted at them, "Man, do something." But however, they did address the depth on the interior defensive line. Like you said, man, they re-signed Miles Adams, who was a late season addition to the Lions after they signed him off the Seahawks practice squad after all the injuries. He played well in the rotation, and I think my guess is that Kelvin Shepard and AC Rogers saw something on the tape that said, "Hey, we want to have this guy back." So they brought him back. And actually, I have to say, I liked Miles Adams during the season. Yeah. I like what he brought. It wasn't like he didn't have like 8 million splash plays, but he made his presence felt, especially when Aleem McNeil went out, and he was one of those guys that was part of the rotation that helped that defensive line toward the end of the season. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling what Miles Adams is putting up, man. So what do you guys think about Miles Adams re-signing with the Lions?
I like it because he's the perfect the perfect definition of a depth piece.
Mhm.
Miles Adams, he started off in like the first game or so, and that's probably because he was a practice squad player. He
Mhm.
was kind of feeling his way in, man. But as the games went on, man, he was finding himself in that rotation. And I remember I said something. I'm like, man, who's that little dude, man? Who, because he's not very tall. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, man, who is he? And then he popped up, man. And I like his relentless effort and attack, his pursuit, his pressure, his get off. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing that you have to do when you play D lines, you gotta be relentless in your attack and your pursuit. Like you can't just
Mhm.
give up off the first. Like, oh no, you got to be relentless, and I like that, man. You got to be explosive, you got to be aggressive, and you got to be relentless. And then I called it the ear. You got to be
Mhm.
the ear effect.
Hmm.
Explosive, aggressive, relentless. That's a D line terminology, man. That's him, man. So he can do that in spurts. So I'm happy with the signing.
Man, look at Coach Jones, man, out here coaching up the
Oh
boss
yeah,
of
my
ball. The
bad.
awesome coaching up the boss of ball, our family, man. All right, LA, what you got on Miles Adams?
Mine is called the toe. No, I'm just joking. I ain't got one of them, but no, he was pretty good. I remember at one point in time I thought that was Broderick Martin. So I was like, oh yeah, he in there knocking people around. Yeah, I was like, that's not him. I said, oh, oops.
Yeah, he
But
got hair.
so yeah.
He got dreads.
But no, he did this thing when he got in there. He seized his opportunity when he had it. So and plus everything Coach Mike said.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, he kind of he kind of capitalized on some of Project Martyr's mistakes and what he was doing. So he was in there
Man,
making his presence felt. Where Project Martin was getting kind of pushed around, his leverage was just off, and he made his presence felt. And he uses that short leverage. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of newer defensive tackles do, where they're not as tall, but they use that short leverage to get underneath those bigger offensive guards and kind of throw them around a little bit. So I like what Miles Adams
yeah.
um, brought to the table. And speaking of guys who are kind of smaller, can throw some weight to throw their weight around, uh, the Detroit Lions agreed late last night in a late evening. It was late evening. Yeah, like I was like, damn, this what? Uh, the Lions agreed to terms with former Arizona Cardinals defensive tackle Roy Lopez. Right, Lopez was a sixth-round draft pick out of the University of New Mexico University, excuse me, to the Houston Texans in 2021. He played 2 seasons in Houston, starting 29 of 33 games he played. Then he signed with the Cardinals practice squad in 2023 and worked his way onto the active roster, playing in 14 games, starting 5. 2024, last season was he was a full-time starter. Best season at a pro. 16 games. He started all 16 that he appeared in. Had 28 tackles, 3 passes defense, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 1 sack, 4 tackles for loss, and 3 quarterbacks hits. Lopez will be a rotational piece for the Lions, and he may have a chance to start at the beginning of the season. Why? Because we don't know if Aleem McNeil will be ready. Looking at his recovery, we don't know if it was a full tear or a partial tear of the ACL, but we all know that most ACL tears are about a year out
Yeah.
for the recovery. So if McNeil is not close to being ready at the beginning of the season, I can see that Lopez may be a guy who's a former starter who can come in and step into that role because he kind of fills that role. He got a 67 pass rush grade, 67.4 from PFF, which makes him that ideal stand-in until the dream can get on the field. Now, I'm gonna say this. No. Let's go into this first. Okay, Lopez. What do you guys feel about him? Because I got something else to say after this.
Mm.
You can go first, LL.
I like him. I like the signing, whether it be for depth or for filling in or whatever it is. They're allegedly around the same size. I don't think either of these gentlemen is this size, but like 6'2", 218-ish. I mean, excuse me, 318-ish. So they
Mm-hmm.
give what's the name, like 317. They give Lee McNeil like 317 or something. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think either of those gentlemen weigh that much or weigh that less. But he should be able to come in. I'm here in October for Aleem McNeil. So we definitely gonna need somebody there. I wouldn't be surprised if they also draft somebody, or what we'll talk about in a little minute. I believe we're not done in that position, but yeah, welcome to the Lions, Roy Lopez.
Yeah. Um, I like the signing. Definitely. I didn't know like too much about him, so I had to, this morning I watched a few highlights of him, man. Highlights is only meant to, make you look good. But there's a few things that I did see that I did like about Roy Lopez. He does, even though he only played primarily the nose tackle one tech, in
Mm-hmm.
Arizona, he still does have some three technique, explosiveness and speed. 'Cause I did see him getting up the field, making plays on the quarterback, on the running back. I did see his burst, like when the running back had broke off to the side. I see him his burst, and he was closing that gap. So he does have three technique. You know what I'm saying? Capabilities, man. So because we did sign Reader to like a 2-year deal, I do believe. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so he can come in and play that spot, man. So Brad Holmes, like he like big D lineman, man. His ends, he like them big. He like everything big. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Gorilla Zoe out here. But that I like the signing, man, because at the end of the day, we need rotational pieces. We need depth pieces because we all seen what happened last year. So
Yeah. All right. So yeah, yeah, man, for real. So yeah, I'm
Mm-mm.
gonna give the two moves yesterday. I'm gonna give them a boss up, man. I think they were good depth pieces. I think we needed those guys, uh, just in case we see what happened last year with all the injuries, and we got to have some more proven depth players on a defensive line. So I like the signings for both of those guys. All right, so man, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. All these things help us get this content to more Detroit Lions fans just like yourself. And and make sure you check me out. I got some content coming the next day or so over at LNU. So man, make sure you check us out. Check me out over there. So I'm doing my thing over there as well. And on Friday, most Fridays I'm over here on Lions Talk Live. So make sure you check me out over there as well. And the Do Crew, man, if you up that early in the morning, because it's a 7 a.m. show. So he go from 7 to 8, and I'm on there about 7:30 to about 7:45 on Friday morning. So all right, here's the thing. I gotta get on my soapbox just a little bit, right?
Mm-mm.
mhm.
Just a little bit, right? Man, if y'all don't shut the hell up about, oh my God, the sky is falling. The Lions aren't signing anybody. They're not getting this person. They're not getting person. Please shut the hell up. Please, please. I'm saying this generously and nicely. Um, uh, Signings by teams of note that made the playoffs, free agent signings this year. The Philadelphia Eagles has not signed a one single free agent yet. Actually, they traded some pieces. They traded a player away. They losing players. The
Mhm.
Baltimore Ravens haven't signed anybody.
Did it in
Detroit, who did the Baltimore Ravens sign?
last night though. What's my man? Nuke.
Oh
They call him
yeah,
Nuke. Yeah, can't think of
yeah,
his
they
name
did.
right now.
They
DeAndre
did. They
Hopkins.
signed
Yeah,
Jagger Hawkins. Yeah, so they got one. We got two. The Buffalo Bills signed two guys. So did the Bucks, the Rams, the Chargers, and the Chiefs. That's and guess what? Most of them are not doing overspending,
Yeah.
right? For all the injuries and for all the how bad we were last year, we were 15-2 and won the division. So this, the injury just caught up to us in that playoff game. I get it; it happens, right? Um, I'll say this one thing that I would need to mention, and I read this again. I think my man from Mike Payton over there on X from A to Z Sports.
Yeah.
He said, and I quote: "The defense at the end of the season is really making everyone forget how good the defense was in the first half of the season. They were a top 5 unit before all the injuries." And he continued with another post and said, "A reminder: the Lions were a top 5 defense in DVOA into week 11, and they suffered a ton of injuries and still managed to allow the second fewest receiving touchdowns in the NFL in 2024. If y'all don't know what DVOA is defensive adjusted value over average. It's the metric that compares a team's performance to the league average. DVOA is used to evaluate a team's success based on each play during the season. One thing I would say this: most of the starters on the Lions defense are still there that was on the roster early in the season, to include Davenport.
Yeah.
He was part of the early season success. Most of those guys are still on the roster. I think the only really starter that's not there right now is Carlton Davis. All the other starters are on the roster. Everybody, either healthy or not healthy, they're still on the roster, right? DJ Reader, Aleem McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell, Anzalone. You got your corner, Terry Arnold, the two safeties. You got BB out there doing his thing. Kirby Joseph still on the roster. And the only new in the slot, you got Amik Robinson, and you got the new cornerback over there, DJ Reed. That's the only new addition to the defense, to the starters that started last year. Oh my God, the crying I'm seeing on some people right now. They are losing their damn mind. Oh my God, Brown Holmes is the worst. But you were singing Brown Holmes' praises here a few minutes ago. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let Brown Holmes do his thing. He's gonna do his thing. Let him do his thing. Because guess what? I know he has a plan, right?
Exactly.
Because he always has a plan. Just because you don't know the plan doesn't mean he doesn't have a plan.
Right.
I'm like, you gotta look at it like, okay, look at how quiet he was at the beginning of free agency last year. Definitely was quiet. Right? He still got his own players he wants to re-sign. Most teams that have sustained success, what do? They draft well and re-sign.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a thing that have sustained success. You got these guys. You look at the Bears, right? The Bears have won preseason. They won the offseason every year for the last 3 years. Oh my God, they got so much better. Oh my God, they keep finishing third and fourth in the division each year. I'm just saying. Great, good teams re-sign their own players. Sometimes the teams that are bad have to overspend in free agency, and we had enough of that in Detroit Lions history. Look how many older players that we signed that were just past their prime or on the back end of their prime, and we were just
overpaid for people like
overpaying. Especially looking at Patricia era, we were just overpaying a whole bunch of former Patriot players that was backups.
Trey Flowers,
Jamie Collins, all them cats we were bringing over from that were depth pieces on the Patriots, but they were getting starter money in Detroit.
We can go back.
I mean, come on, people. You got to have a level of subjectivity when you look at the Detroit Lions, right? Like, and you have to look at it. Detroit was a top 5 defense last season before all the injuries. They have some of the proven names. Do I think that they're still going to add some pieces? Yes. I think one of the things that maybe Brad Holmes may be looking at, I want to get better in the draft because we didn't have a great draft last year. We want to have a better draft this year, and it may be addressing that edge and defensive tackle and offensive line in the draft this year. So
trenches, it's all about the trenches. That's where the game started.
So, and you look at this draft, it's just tough on defensive tackles and defensive ends. And I can see Brad Holmes, we have enough draft capital to go up and down the board to get who we want. But just to say that just because it's been kind of quiet. Now the Lions were in on Josh Sweat. But he couldn't match that contract. Why? Because he has the plans to sign his players that are already on the roster. You got a big deal coming up with Aiden Hutchinson. You got a big deal coming up with Kirby Joseph. Those are going to be some big contracts. And they already have some big contracts on the book. Jared Goff, and then you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you have Aleem McNeil, and you have Penei Sewell. You got some big deals on the books, and you want to actually be able to sign the guys that are coming behind that you want to keep on the roster. I mean, you got to look at you can't do a fifth-year option on a guy like Brian Branch. Why? Because he was drafted in the second round. So you got about another year of him. This is his third season coming up. Next year is just extension year, because you don't want to get him where he's just out there, and he's out there in limbo. You want to make sure you can secure him as fast as possible. So you look at these guys, man. I'm just looking at it like I'm just watching people whine and just complain, and I'm like, please straighten up, man. Shaking like a stripper. Like, tighten up, bro. Please cut it out. Like, and I'm not saying that you can't voice your opinion. I'm just saying you got to keep it 100. So you can't praise a guy on one hand and then be like, oh my God, all of a sudden the sky's falling on another. You know what I'm saying? If you believe in him, you believe in him. You know what I'm saying? Until he doesn't give you a reason. And right now he's not giving you a reason not to believe in him.
Right.
So what do you guys think about that? So my thing is, we got some good players still on this team, man. And you look at most of those, the guys, like I said, we looked at Spot Rack or Over the Cap, man. The Lions had like most of the 53 active rosters already signed and under contract. So, all right, what you guys think, man? That's just me. I'm sorry I had to go on my little rant, but please, boy, please, look, what's that? Take it down, man. Take it down.
Now, I will say this, man. I will clarify a few things about my initial reaction yesterday. It was only because the height. That's all it was. The height. It wasn't because of the player or the type of, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just I'm thinking about that red zone. I'm thinking about, oh man, they playing over the top. You know what I'm saying? So and also I was concerned because he's never been a cornerback one. He's never been the guy. You know what I'm saying? So that, so now, but we also have to have faith in Brad Holmes, right? He might see that, TA is ready to step up and take that step. Ennis is ready to step up and take that step. And then you surround him with a good veteran, you know what I'm saying? And that now you can take that DB room to the next level. So that was just merely like oh no, but Brad Holmes has a plan. Like you gotta be an a-hole if you think Brad Holmes ain't got no plan. Like if you think Brad Holmes sitting back there like, well, we'll see what happens and I'll just do whatever. Like, come on, man. Like, does that really sound like Brad Holmes, the guy who has architecturally built the Detroit Lions from 3-13-1 to 9-8 to 12-5 to 15-2? Does it sound like he not have a plan? Like, come on, man. Like, but so people, and then you gotta realize too, free agency hasn't technically started yet.
It has not. It starts today at 4 o'clock.
Y'all crying, y'all. How you gonna cry before free agency even start? That's the tampering period. Like those deals might not. Some of those deals might not go through. Some of those deals might fall through because of technicalities on the back end. So I mean, yeah, man, just calm down. Have your initial reactions for a certain reason, not because they didn't sign a name. Like that can't be it. Like not a name. It can be a technical deficiency that you might think might happen, such as we was kind of joking about yesterday, man. We kind of talked about yesterday, but not over a name, man. Like I gotta be smarter than that.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
Y'all can't be emotional fans, man. Like, come on.
I seen people crying that we didn't sign Joey Bosa. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like the guy nobody wants Joey Bosa injured ass in Detroit. But you're gonna cry that he goes to the Bills. Like, I don't get that. Myles Garrett wasn't gonna get that deal in Detroit. Neither was Max Crosby. I don't even think Trey Hendrickson will get that deal in Detroit. He's not gonna. They're not gonna get
not what he deserved because
that be record breaking deal. Yeah. It's please stop. I mean, like that doesn't mean like every free agent we should be signing. Just because the person has a name or a good player at one point doesn't mean they're a good fit for the Detroit Lions. We already know that the Lions have a certain particular type of player that they want to add to the roster, and they're only going to add those guys. They're not going to add just a guy just because he has a big name. But all right, LL man, because I know you have something interesting to say because you've been saying this. You've been saying this for the last couple of days, like, bro, they tripping right now, man. They over there, man. I can't believe they over there whining like that. What you got?
No, I should I say who it is? I'll be watching some Detroit sports stuff. And yesterday I was on my lunch break around 2 o'clock on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
watching some Detroit stuff. And they was just
Was
over
it
there, but
live?
like
Was it
it was
live?
live. It was live.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Okay.
give a shit. It was Uber Sports. It was Ermani Edwards. It was your friend Braylon Edwards was in his own too, Coach Mike. But they was just so high on one end. But the same guy, Ermani, like when they was, only had one loss, he was the one yelling and screaming. It's almost a guarantee that we win the Super Bowl. We don't lose another game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But now we haven't signed anybody, any notable names outside of DJ Reed and this and that. And he sees the other team. That's pretty much the basis of a lot of people's argument is that they seeing what other teams is doing. And it's like, oh, we're not doing that. Everybody around us is getting better. We're the window. People on the same show saying that the window is closed, and people on the same show saying they don't think we're gonna win the Super Bowl. I it's very like I don't. That's typical Lions fan type shit. You know what I'm saying? It's one, week by week is different. Y'all sounding like Cowboys fans. Y'all sound like ESPN. It's just after a good performance is oh my God through the roof, and after whatever kind of performance is through the roof the other kind of way. So Kurt and Coach Mike pretty much just said it, but just shut the hell up, man. For a better point of it all, it ain't even really start yet. It's the tampering
No.
period. Whatever can happen in between now and then, but who cares, man? We got bigger fish to fry. We got our own fish to fry, if you want to say it that way. We got some people we got to sign. We might start seeing some of that stuff, but what I'm more interested in is just out of all the well, we'll talk about that in a couple seconds anyway, but just like potential cuts, I think he might have his eyes on that because however many months ago or weeks ago we kept we were getting announcements on that. Hey, this team is planning to cut this person, this team is planning on cut that person. I don't remember them all, but I bet you Brad Holmes remember some of them or remember them all. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would just chill a little bit with all of the woe is me, man. Just have a if y'all but it's that just goes to my point when I be like, shut the hell up when y'all be like, oh, not y'all two in particular, but just
Mm-hmm.
people out there. They be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I trust in Brad Holmes. I trust in Brad Holmes. Do you?
I mean, like, if you really do, you're just gonna be like, okay, just kind of wait to see what you mean. Like, you,
Wait
it's
and
one
see
of the
what
things, man.
happens.
Yeah, you see what happens, man. You pump your brakes, man. And you like, because I had an initial reaction that Saint me and Coach Jones kind of had the same opinion about DJ Reed. Another thing that's the concern is the amount of PI penalties that he's drawing, man. Hey, TA drew enough of them last year, but I think DJ Reed had like 9 PI penalties last year, so
Well,
he'll handsy. You know what I'm saying? I like, but
you
I like aggressive corners too, though.
you can include
Yeah.
me in the concern about that, but
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. He here now, so
Yeah, so you could do it, play him, um, but hey, man, like the video, share the video, comment on the video. All these things help us get this content to more Detroit Lions fans just like yourself, man. Real quick, and then I wanted to talk about a few players that the Lions maybe target going forward. So what you got, LL?
all right. We were talking about this yesterday in the group chat, and Kurt has sent me or a list or graphic, whatever you want to call it, of some pending free agents. I guess I don't know. I don't know if this is all of the people, but maybe some people we may be interested in
Mm-hmm.
at a few positions. I'm going to look at, of course, interior offensive linemen, some guys that we may be interested in. Number one is one of our own, Kevin Zeitler. I've been seeing a lot of on Twitter or on the internet rallying to get that young man to come or that man to come back in. I don't think he's too young. Well, younger than me,
No, he's
but so
35.
he's
Yeah,
younger than me.
still young.
But to bring him back, interior defensive lineman, I wouldn't mind Levi coming back. Larry Ogunjobi got cut by the Steelers as well. He's a pretty good defensive lineman when he's healthy. I don't know his numbers on being healthy though, so if he's a hurt old boy, he can stay where he at. A couple of names that I had mentioned, one a while ago and one more recent, DeMarcus Lawrence is available still. He might be available for $17.50 an hour. And Emmanuel Ogba. I had said him, I believe, last off season. He's kind of in that
Mm-hmm.
mode where we like, 6'5" ish, 260 ish. He's a power rusher. He hasn't had put up the big sack numbers recently or anything like that, but he's a solid defensive lineman. I think he could play football. Another guy that well, no, another interior offensive lineman that's on this list is Greg Gaines. I don't know if y'all remember him. He played with the Rams. He was the other defensive tackle that was there with Aaron Donald. Greg Gaines can play football, at least in my opinion. He went down to Tampa. He played pretty solid. If he's available, I wouldn't mind seeing him, but his
Mm-hmm.
his deal might not be in the 1750 hour range.
Mm-hmm.
And who's another one? And that's all I got really. That's all I got on this one. But what do you guys
Yeah.
think about any of those names?
I mean, for me, for any of those guys, got to be the right price and got to be the right fit um, for the scheme and for the team. Like, 'cause just because a player fits the scheme doesn't mean he fits the team. If you can get what I'm saying, like he's not maybe not be a culture fit, and we all know the Detroit Lions are about culture. It doesn't matter if it's the person in the cafeteria, the guy doing the field out there at Allen Park at the Mar Performance Center. It doesn't matter if he concession stands at Ford Field. It got to fit the culture for the Detroit Lions, man, and that goes down from the lowest to the highest. And if they don't fit that, they're not going to be in Detroit. So as long as they can bring in got people that are scheme and culture fits, I'm all with it. And it doesn't matter to me because you got a lot of people just screaming about names, and I'm like, okay, does the player fit? And those guys, like Kevin Zeitler, I want to bring him back. I want to bring Levi back. I want to bring Tim Patrick back. Um,
Tim
those are
Patrick as
guys.
well. He on the list as well. Tim Patrick as well.
Yeah. So, but looking at this list, I got it pulled up right here on my phone. People are talking about Aqua. I like Aquadine Muhammad. Even he's a depth piece.
Yeah.
He's not a starter. Um, hell, bring back Big Z if you. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, for the right deal and the right price. So yeah, uh, like I said, any of those guys are fine as long as they fit the scheme and they fit the team. What you got, Coach Jones?
Yeah, just you kind of stole one that I had, and that's Al Qadim Muhammad. I think he played pretty good, man. He showed good burst. He showed relentless effort. So that's a good thing. Also, we gotta bring back Levi. Um,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it's at that discounted price because Brad Holmes was in on a lot of guys. He made calls, but a lot of guys that ended up going and making buku amount of money. So Levi, it depends on what if he's going to get his, then he might hold out and try to see if somebody's going to pay for him. But one guy that I would not mind is interior offensive lineman Will Anderson or Hernandez. I'm sorry.
We're on there.
Uh,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I would not mind Will Hernandez coming in at guard if Zeitler can't be re-signed. You
Take
know,
Brandon
we
Short
know,
too.
yeah, because Big Strebo over there probably gonna be
Hmm.
on the left side. So on the right side, Will Hernandez can come in. 'Cause I think him and Panay Sewell together will, woo wee.
They're definitely wreck
That's
some shop.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it, man. Like I said, we just gotta worry about re-signing our own guys, and then worry about depth pieces. And Brad Holmes is gonna do his biggest thing in the draft. Like he's done that so far every year. The biggest moves he makes is when he trades up, or if he trades back in the draft, and he has a plan. Brad Holmes has a plan. Trust it. We trusted it. We trusted it all the way up until we lost, and then we don't trust it no more. And then we trust it, after the draft, and then we don't like. Come on, then it's like, come on, man. We too topsy turvy with this. We too up and down. We
Yeah.
emotional like the women folk. Be man. Now, that's not saying everything about the women folk. I'm just saying, just emotionally though, keep it in check, please.
Man, there's plenty of dudes out here that be riding the emotional roller coaster all the time. But hey, man, like the video, share the video, comment on the video. All these things help us with this content and gets it out to more Lions fans just like yourself. If you haven't done so already, please follow the crew on your favorite social media platforms, man. And you know, Coach Jones does a great job over there on Wolverine Sports Talk and doing some shorts over here as well. I post content from this show on all of my social media platforms, man. And y'all know what day it is. Today is Thursday Eve. So make sure you check out LL's Instagram page, man. I gotta find that other Instagram handle so I can post it on this graphic as well, man. Because we got to get the content out to the people, man. Because it be damage over there on LL's Instagram page, man. And Thursdays be getting lit over there with LL, man. All
City
right, so
Bob.
all right, man. Now it's time. Now it's time for final thoughts for today's show. Parting shots, man. LL, you up first on this hump day, baby.
AKA
Man,
Thursday Eve.
happy Wednesday. That's all that today is. It's not an eve of anything, but have a great one. Let's just see what's gonna happen today. It's another day in free agency. It actually begins today. You might have a surprise out there. Who knows?
All right, my man, Wolverine, Coach Mike Jones. What you got for today?
Yeah, man. Like LL said, frequency starts today. So all the emotional topsy turvy stuff about him not signing people actually don't start till today. So and then today is not the end of the like when it reaches 11:59 p.m. That's not the end of free agency. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? This is the first day of free agency, and we got what we need in place. We're trying
Mm-hmm.
to sign depth.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we need on a 15-2 roster is depth. Like we need to replace Carlton Davis. Like that was the only piece that really needed to be replaced. Everything else is depth. So with that
Yeah.
being said, man, just chill out, relax. Take you something if you need to calm down. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? If you need anything, man, just kind of maybe stay off the coffee. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, man. Don't be hyped. Just relax, breathe, woosah, maybe even meditate, man, and stay tuned to all the news that's going on because it's only March.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a little secret. Let me tell you a little secret. Free agency doesn't end until the end of preseason. I mean, I'm just saying because you're gonna have a whole bunch of people getting cut at the end of preseason, and then they're gonna be free agents too. So calm your ass down. Anyways, man, make sure you like the video and share the video and comment on the video, man. Hey, if you're having a good day, and thank you for starting your workday out with us. If you're having a good day at work, please spread some joy, man. You never know when a kind word can make someone's day. And shout out to Chrissy over there from LNU, man. She hit me up last night, and it's all good, man, and it's all love, man. And whatever you need, I'm here for you there, Chrissy. So let me know if you need something. Um, and make sure you have a good day at work, man, and spread the joy. And don't steal someone else's joy if you're not having a good day. And make sure you do your man Kurt still a favor. Whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my man LL Cool Tones and Coach Mike Jones, who had to go. This is Kurt Steele, and we will holla at you real soon.